Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from Red State dated September 23rd. And it says Google to restore YouTube accounts banned under pressure from Biden administration, but downplays the key part. And as I'm recording this, it seems like they didn't quite do what they said they were going to do. And I wonder if this article goes into what I'm thinking, but we'll find out. Let's go through it together. It says Google vowed on Tuesday to reinstate YouTube accounts that were banned under pressure from the Biden administration for COVID-19 or election-related content and more. And this is last Tuesday at the time you're hearing this, not the day that you're hearing it, which I believe will be a Tuesday at the time I schedule it. Anywho, it says just one problem. Somewhat lost in the shuffle blaming the Biden administration, the big tech platform admitted that it also censored content independently based on its internal policies. Google, which owns YouTube, now claims that it has since rolled back those policies. We'll believe it when we see it. You know, the old trust but verify proverb. It says Google, also known by its parent company Alphabet, detained its somewhat surprising decision in a document, no doubt begrudgingly handed to the House Judiciary Committee by a lawyer representing the company. The new policy could hit hard, given that Google has for years threatened, censored, or permanently banned user content from everyday Americans to conservative heavyweights like FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino. I forgot that they did that to him. It says White House counterterrorism expert Sebastian Gorka and War Room host Steve Bannon, all unfairly targeted to challenge the narrative on COVID-19 or election integrity, and more, much more. This is the lawyer representing Google wrote, reflecting the company's commitment to free expression. It says, hold the bus. Google's commitment to free expression. I hope you weren't swallowing anything when you read that line. We're not fond of causing our readers to choke on their food or drink. Since when has Google been committed to free speech? Please, yeah. What was their old motto? Like, don't be evil. Turns out, well, Google's actually evil, and they don't believe in free speech at all. So anyway, let's continue with the lawyer's missive. It says YouTube will provide an opportunity for all creators to rejoin the platform if the company terminated their channels for repeated violations of COVID-19 and elections integrity policies that are no longer in effect. And the author says, I thought about beginning my headline with flying pigs alert, then decided against doing so after thinking through a few things. First, not similar to Facebook or Meta, CEO Mark Zuckerberg blaming the Biden administration for censoring conservative content, Google seems to have forgotten its censorship of conservatives long before Biden took office. Those of us who've written conservative articles for years clearly remember the first time that content we wrote and later shared on Facebook took a big hit in terms of views and shares. And yeah, I'm not on Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook since like 2018. I deactivated my account and never went back to it for reasons I don't need to get into here. It wasn't about stuff like this. I was just, part of it was just I was kind of sick of it. Which is kind of funny. I'm back on X now, came back on X 5 years later. But what I hear from Facebook, or people on Facebook all the time that have like political stuff, is that like nobody ever sees it. So I think they're still censoring people, and I don't think they care. The second, imagine a scenario in which the Trump administration attempted to pressure big tech to censor left-wing content. Why would they fall in line like they did under pressure from the Biden administration? It says not a chance. Yeah, that would never happen. And plus, it would be all over the news if that actually happened. It says third, no doubt Google CEO Sundar Pichai, like Zuckerberg, began to see the writing on the wall. Not just the new sheriff in town, that being Donald Trump, of course, but the beginning of the end of the insanity of DEI and woke. It says here's more via Fox News. It says Google's revelations came in response to a years-long Republican-led investigation by the committee into big tech companies, including Google, that censored and suppressed content on their platforms related to COVID-19, the 2020 election, and Hunter Biden. Parallel to the congressional investigations was a lawsuit brought by two Republican attorneys general over social media censorship. Discovery in that case largely mirrored what the committee uncovered. The Supreme Court ultimately did not decide on the merits of the case, Murphy versus Missouri, and instead found that the plaintiffs lacked standing to bring it. But the lower courts had largely sided with the plaintiffs, including a judge who found the federal government seemed to have assumed a role similar to an Orwellian Ministry of Truth, which the Biden administration was trying to actually input, and when it got released that was happening, there was a huge public outcry, and they decided, yeah, it's probably not a good idea. And that lady, whose name is Nina Jankowicz, is still floating around out there somewhere. I think she might have a job like with the European Union or something, but do not give her any sort of power at all. It would be a mistake. Anywho, says in response to the Google decision, the House Judiciary issued a press release dated September 23rd. It says, today, thanks to the oversight of Chairman Jim Jordan, Republican of Ohio, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off YouTube due to political speech violations on topics such as COVID-19 and elections an opportunity to return to the platform. Google also admitted the following to the House Judiciary Committee. The Biden administration pressured Google to censor Americans and remove content that did not violate YouTube's policies. 2, the Biden administration censorship pressure was unacceptable and wrong, and also a violation of your rights. It says 3, public debate should never come at the expense of relying authorities. 4, the company will never use third-party fact-checkers. 5, Europe's censorship laws target American companies and threaten American speech, including the removal of lawful content. It says these major admissions come after Jim Jordan's subpoena to Google and a years-long investigation into the company. Jordan also said in a letter, it says, due to our oversight efforts, Google commits to offer all creators, and that's all in capital letters, all creators previously kicked off YouTube due to political speech violations to return to the platform. And there's his embedded tweet, there's the release, and it says, what a difference a change in administrations makes. It says, yes, my Democrat friends, this is exactly part of what we voted for. Freedom-loving, patriotic Americans are way over the left's insanity. You saw it, says, wait, you still don't see it, in the results of the 2024 presidential election. You saw it in the aftermath of the horrific assassination of Turning Point USA's Charlie Kirk, and you saw it in the beautiful memorial service to Charlie on Sunday, every bit of it peaceful and God-loving. In other words, get on board or get out of the way. We're just getting started. Okay, so what I was going to bring up at the beginning here about the fact that I don't think they're really putting people back is that I saw that Nick Fuentes, who I am absolutely not a fan of, and Alex Jones, who I don't watch and I don't care, I'm ambivalent to him one way or the other, tried to start new YouTube channels and they were like immediately banned. So Google is definitely not keeping up their side of things. So that's a problem. And you don't get, let's say you're for free speech only if it's for speech for people that you like. Okay? Hate to break it to you, but them's the rules. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Do you think Google is going to be an honest actor in this, or do you think they're just going to keep doing what they've been doing? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.